Good morning, everyone. I'm County Judge Richard F. Cortez, Chairman of the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1. On March the 16th of 2020, Governor Greg Abbott granted a request by the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to temporarily suspend a limited number of open meeting laws to the extent necessary to allow telephonic or video conference meetings in response to COVID-19. In accordance with those suspended rules, notice of this meeting of the Board of Directors of Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 has been posted online for at least 72 hours. Although members of the board are not gathered in a central physical location, we have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by video conference or telephone call. The board is meeting by the use of Zoom software and telephone transmission, which allows two-way communication for all members of the public during the public participation forum. This meeting is being broadcast live online. As we would in any other in-person meeting, members of the public who have followed the instructions on the meeting notice will be permitted to participate in the public forum portion of this agenda. If you would like to participate in a public forum at a future meeting conducted by video conference or telephone call, please follow the instructions on the posted meeting notice. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board adopted procedures to the extent possible. We apologize in advance for any unforeseeable technical difficulties, and we ask your patience as we navigate through these unprecedented conditions. The time is now 9:47, and we will begin with a roll call to establish quorum.
David Fuentes, Precinct 1.
Eddie Cantu, Precinct 2.
Ellie Torres, Precinct 4.
I believe Commissioner Flores is on, if he can unmute himself. Richard Cortez, County Judge, that constitutes a quorum. Mr. Zacine, would you please lead us in prayer?
Yes, sir. Certainly will, Judge. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for another day that you allowed us to come serve, Lord. We continue to pray for all our leadership, Lord. Continue to lift up our judge and four commissioners, Lord. Continue to provide them with your wisdom, Lord, with your insight, Lord, and more importantly, with your peace, Lord, as they continue to make the decisions that affect us all, Lord. Continue to lift up all those that are battling illnesses, Lord, whether COVID-related or not, Lord. We continue to lift them up to you. Pray for them, for their healing upon them, Lord. Not only that, but their families as well, Lord. Keep them in our prayers as they continue to battle through all this is happening, Lord. We continue to seek guidance from you, Lord. I continue to ask for your wisdom for myself, Lord, for all our drainage district employees, all our county employees, Lord. Help all of us keep us safe, Lord, and we continue to just look to you, Lord, for guidance in all that we do. I ask this in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Did anyone sign up for open forum?
No open forum for drainage. No one signed up.
Okay, can we go on, have a approval of the consent agenda? Any items to be pulled?
No, sir, Judge. Everything's in order. We have discharge permits proposed and some payment to vendors that have been reviewed by my accounting team and my engineering team, and everything's in order, sir. We recommend approval.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 5A.
Yes, sir. Item 5A, approval of advanced funding agreement between Dow County Drainage District Number 1 and Texas Department of Transportation for the highway improvement generally described as rehabilitation FM 1425 rural facility for Business 83 State Highway 107, CHA number 1428-01027 and 1428-01028. We recommend approval. This is an improvement that TxDOT is undertaking, and the district's participating with the material that will help address some of the crossings that are already in place, just to oversize them and so forth. So we recommend approval for the judge to execute the advanced funding agreement.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 5B, discussion possible action regarding resolution in support of the nomination of individuals to Texas Water Development Board's Region 15 flood planning group members and nomination of supporting political subdivisions pending final legal review. This item is before the board. We've been working with Commissioner Fuentes' office to develop this resolution. As the board knows, the state legislature passed and was voted on. Proposition 8 was approved to create the 15 regions. We were fortunate that through the leadership of Commissioner Fuentes and Commissioner Torres, the Region 15, which originally extended all the way to El Paso, was reduced down to Amistad Dam, which is more in line to what we would affect us in case of an event that came down the river. So with that reduction, anyway, there's 15 regions that are being proposed, and there's 12 voting members in the planning group that will comprise of 12 different categories, interested categories. The categories are agriculture interests, industries, river authorities, counties, municipalities, water districts, flood districts, electrical generating utilities, public water utilities, environmental interests, and small businesses. So out of those 12, the names that are being recommended as part of this resolution, they have been working since the last 3 years or more on regionalizing type of drainage approach for our Tri-County area. And obviously the Region 15 is comprised basically of Hidalgo and Cameron County, comprising of almost 75% of the whole Region 15 area. So the names that are a part of the resolution have been working in partnership with the district and the precincts and so forth in trying to address drainage for the area. So that's how these names came about. I don't know if Commissioner Fuentes wants to elaborate anything else on that, sir.
Well, this is real critical to future planning with respect to flooding. And obviously that's been a big issue for us. We were successful in getting that region identified just for our area. I keep glancing at my board because I have my map back here, but it's a really important program. For the last 3 years, this group has been really working together quite a bit. Commissioner Torres has been helping us, and she came on board as well. But we feel very confident that this group will be well represented, will be a great representation of our area. And that way we can have some continuity in working towards flood mitigation and projects in the future, especially through Proposition 8 monies that are available now and future funding that comes available through the state. They're going to be looking at these flood planning groups to make decisions and recommendations. And we think it's really important to have, our interest represented there. So these are just nominations. Ultimately, the Water Development Board makes the picks of who they want to be on this group. But this is the group that we feel confident will go out there and do a good job in representing our area. So all the people that are on this resolution are going to take similar resolutions back to their entities and try to create, have multiple nominations for the same people to the Water Development Board. The deadline is next week. So we're trying to get this done with some time so that if something has to change within now and the submission date, we can take some appropriate action. But I do want to say that this is a good group of people that will represent our area well.
And the other portion of the resolution also is to present as a sponsor the drainage district that will be eligible to receive, if selected, for the region of financial assistance from the Water Development Board to develop or revise any regional flood plans. So that's the other portion of the resolution as well. Being that the drainage district manages, 90% of the developed area in the county and about 55% of the physical area, but we manage almost 90% of the developed area, and we have good relationships with our sister counties. As part of the resolution also that's before the board.
And that would be great to have representation from the drainage district on that planning group, because that will really add a lot of knowledge and experience and effective leadership in that area. So I am full support of this resolution, and I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item, if I may, Judge, item 5C, request approval of payment out of the Texas Water Development Board reimbursement funds in the amount of $125,919.06 to Hidalgo County Precinct 4 for in-house construction of segment 1 of the Rainbow Drain for pay periods 5 and 6.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6A, request approval to accept bids and award a construction contract to lowest and best bidder meeting all specified requirements, Smallville LLC, for RFP number ACD 120-026-0610. PD lateral phase 1, 2018 bond referendum project number 29, base bid and a total amount of $1,974,528.13, as recommended project engineers Isaguirre Engineering Group LLC, subject to legal approval and compliance with House Bill 1295.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 2, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262031, and interest of expedited project's progress, requesting authority approval of Drainage District General Manager to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease in cost of $50,000 or less, in no event to exceed the change order statutory limits. The original contract may not be decreased by 18% or more without consent of the contract.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B, requesting approval to accept bids and award a construction contract to lowest and best bidder meeting all specified requirements, Mobile LLC, for RFP number ACD 120-029-0610, PD lateral phase 2, 2018 bond referendum project number 29, base bid, and the total amount $1,477,555, as recommended project engineer Isaguirre Engineering Group LLC, subject to legal approval, compliance with House Bill 1295.
Move for approval.
There a
Second.
second? We have a motion and a second for approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 2, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262031, and the interest of expedited project's progress, requesting authority approval for Drainage District General Manager to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease in cost of $50,000 or less, and in no event exceed the change order statutory limits, where the contract price may not be decreased by 18% or more without the consent of the contract.
Approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 7A, 1, requesting approval to accept bids and award construction contract to lowest and best bidder meeting all specified requirements, Will LLC, for the RFP number ACD 120-021-0617, Las Milpas Hidalgo Park Estates, base bid and total amount of $697,085.69, as recommended by ACD 1 engineer Noe Saldivar, subject to legal approval and compliance with House Bill 1295.
Approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262031, in the interest of expediting the project's progress, requesting authority approval for Drainage District General Manager to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease in cost of $50,000 or less, and in no event to exceed change order statutory limits. The original contract price may not be decreased by 18% or more without the consent of the contract.
For approval.
Second.
You have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
7B1, approval to reclassify administered budget 003, slot number 17, from engineering tech 4 to engineering and training. No budget impact, salary remains at G14-1.
For approval. Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 2, approval of personnel actions to create one right-of-way agent position at G15S1, and budget amendment required for personnel actions for salary and fringes in an amount of $41,300.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 3, approval of revised salary schedule.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Do I have any items for closed session?
We do have some small items in closed session, yes.
Okay. Pursuant to subchapter D of 551 of the Texas Government Code, we would be retiring to closed session to discuss those items so listed. Also regarding matters in code section 551.072 and 551.074. May I have a motion to retire to closed session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. We'll go into closed session. Okay, we're back from closed session, and I believe there are some action items to be taken.
Yes, sir. Under item 9A, possible action on real estate acquisition, we ask the board to approve, I guess, as proceed as directed. Legal, what kind of wording we want to use?
Yeah, to authorize the administration to proceed as directed with respect to real estate acquisition.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I believe that concludes our agenda items. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay. We're ready to start our Commissioners Court meeting. Good morning. This is Richard Cortez. I'm the county judge. On March the 16th of 2020, Governor Greg Abbott granted a request by the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to temporarily suspend a limited number of open meeting laws to the extent necessary to allow telephonic or video conference meetings in response to this COVID-19 matter. In accordance with these suspended rules, notice of this meeting of the Thio County Commissioners Court has been posted online for at least 72 hours. Although members of the commissioner are not gathered in a central physical location, we will have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by video conference or telephone call. The commission is meeting by the use of Zoom software and telephone transmission, which allows two-way communications for all members of the public during the public participation forum. This meeting is being broadcast online. As we would at any in-person meeting, members of the public who have followed the instructions on the meeting notice will be permitted to participate in the public forum portion of the agenda. If you would like to participate in the public forum in the future meeting conducted by a video conference or telephone call, please follow the instructions on the posted meeting notice. All other meeting procedures will adhere to the board adopted procedures to the extent possible. We apologize in advance for any unforeseeable technical difficulties and ask for your patience as we navigate through these unprecedented conditions. The time now is 10:16, and we will begin with a roll call to establish quorum.
David Fuentes, Precinct 1.
Eddie Cantor, Precinct 2.
Eli Torres, Precinct 4.
Our Richard Cortez, County Judge. That constitutes a quorum. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of good health and peace that we have enjoyed for so many years. As we find ourselves in this time of crisis, we ask for your divine intervention and mercy to be upon each of us. Come and guide the minds of those working to discover a treatment to this COVID-19 virus, and to the policymakers looking to keep our community safe. Grant them wisdom, knowledge, and clarity of mind, so that all peoples will be free from the threat of this ailment. We also pray for the healthcare workers that are standing in front line of this battle. We ask that you will grant them strength and protection as they give of themselves in selfless service. May you fill them with your Holy Spirit as they work to be your healing hands. Father, we also surrender to you all those who have been afflicted with this virus. Grant them your healing grace, merciful Father, so that they may recover swiftly and continue to be witnesses for your love in their lives. Mother Mary, we ask for your intercession in this great time of need. Cover each of us with your blue mantle of protection, so that we may be preserved in good health to continue to glorify your Son, Jesus Christ. We make this prayer through our Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Do we have any items to pull out of the consent agenda?
Yes, Judge, with your permission, Judge Commissioners, I'd like to pull out item 9F from the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
9F.
We have a motion and a second to approve the remainder of the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, item 9F, consent agenda. I'd like to, for the record, the correct contract number is C19-059-0716. The last two digits, 16.
Move for approval with those changes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve with those changes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Has anyone signed up for open forum?
Mr. Lopez,
Yes, sir. We have Fern here in person. We'll bring her up here in just a second.
okay?
Am I up? Back. Okay.
Ms.
Good
Fern,
morning.
Ms.
Yes.
Fern, there is a 3-minute time limit. I will advise when there is 1 minute. I will begin when you begin.
All right. Today, I'm going to be discussing mandatory mask orders and recommended mask guidelines. There are 8 counties with mandatory mask orders, and all, surprisingly, have Democrats for county judges. Bexar County, Cameron County, Dallas, El Paso, Harris, Hayes, Hidalgo, and Travis. There are 27 counties, all but one have county judges, surprisingly, are Republicans. And we understand that there will be more testing, there will be more people that are positive. And this county has scared the hell out of the people again. They are panicking, no toilet paper, no milk, no bread. And we would like to know, if you go to valleycentral.com, you can see the total confirmed cases per 1,000 persons in each county. Bexar County has 3.29, Cameron County 3.61, Dallas 6.16, El Paso 5.20, Hayes 7.28, Hidalgo has 1.94. The ones that recommend a mask have Anderson has got 17.29. We've got Nacogdoches 5.40. We have Pandola, I think is how you say it. They went from 8.99. They have gone down to 7.89. We have Shelby, which is at 9.94. Titus, 19.94. And Walker County has 25.84. Hidalgo County again is at 1.94. There is no reason why that we are under absolute mandatory mask. Washing your hands, I understand that. Make that mandatory, that they have to wash their hands, would be surprising with y'all. Again, the panic has set in. I understand this morning that possibly some of the cities like McAllen are not forcing their businesses to use masks. So I don't understand why you're punishing the business again in Hidalgo County for what reason? I understand there's about 133 days to the election. That's 5 months from now. And I'm assuming after November 3rd, everything will go back to normal. Won't that be exciting? Also, I have a question on agenda items. It's number 8C and 8G. 8C is they're doing 13 positions from part-time to full-time. One more time, you're sneaking them in to hire these people. And then you're creating a new position on 8G. Right now, the people are hurting. The county keeps hiring people and stuff or moving them and giving them raises. So we're asking you to do your job and to check our county and find out why we are in mandatory masks. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Lopez, do we have any other participants?
No, that's all for today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm going to move some items here. I have a conference call with the governor's office at 11, so I want to move item 9A and B, Eddie Olivares, because he needs to be on the call also. Eddie, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. Eddie Olivares, Hidalgo County Health. I have a couple of items today, sir, with your permission. I have item 9A, pursuant to Chapter 121 Local Health Reorganization Act, Section 121.006, requesting approval of the revised scheduled fees for Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Departments effective July 1st, 2020. This is every year our federal poverty income level changes or is altered. There's been a slight change in that. So our new, this new federal poverty income level will affect our rates. So we just wanted to bring that up to court to bring, you know, I think there's an increase of $26.72 for this year's federal poverty income level, sir.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I don't, is Commissioner Flores in the meeting?
I do not see him, Judge.
Okay. Well, let the record show that there's only three of us. Commissioner.
Item, sir. Next item. I apologize. Here we go. Next item is item 9B, requesting approval to submit grant renewal application for tuberculosis. Grant federal FY21 program of amount of $437,771. In grant funds, $87,554 in local match, which has been approved through our budgetary action. The contract period is from January 1st through 2021 through December 31st, 2021.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 2, requesting approval for county judge to sign all related grant application documents.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Is Ricardo, are you there? Saldana, 10A?
Yes, sir, I'm on.
Okay, please.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Ricardo Saldana, Office of the County Judge, Emergency Management. Item 10A, we're asking for approval of a non-financial interaction collaborative agreement with 211 Texas for mutual support and collaboration with common goals for coordinating information and reference services for Hidalgo County residents.
Approval.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item A2, request approval for the county judge to sign the agreement.
So move. Second.
A motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
We'll go back to the original sequence of our agenda. Item 6A.
Judge.
Sir.
Judge. Does Eddie Olivares have to help with 18A? That's the one with the courthouse and some of the needs that they have. I guess.
Does it need to be there? Well, we probably.
That's under purchasing, Mr. Commissioner Cantu. I think what Mr. Guerra and some of the others have the appropriate information on that. I could stand by if you like for that.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
Let's ask Ms. Salazar.
I think we have all the information and we distributed it late last night. Additional supporting information that the court can then make a decision on the items that are listed.
Did you review it, Eddie? Does a request make sense, or is this a strictly purchasing decision?
Sir, we've been working with through our committee. Our committee has reviewed the items. I know that there's some important issues on there that need to be done. The committee is in support of the recommendations put forth by Ms. Salazar.
What do you mean by committee, Ed?
We have our task force, our committee that was established for the different items, our fixed asset items and the different groups within there. And this is one of the items that came forward to discuss and review the sensors and those items to assess temperature and assess different items in the different county buildings.
Eddie, but there's like nurses and medical technicians.
Yes,
I would
sir.
rely on you to know if that's necessary, or do we just need temporary workers? What is it that we need?
So here's the thing on that item, sir. What we're doing is we're looking at equipment plus staffing. We're comparing the cost between the agency nurses and nursing staff with temporary staff. Mr. Cruz and our budgetary office has been working on assessing that analysis. The agency staff are very expensive, almost double the cost of what it would be to hire temporary nurse assistants, LVNs, et cetera. I think the recommendation is yet to be determined by purchasing and budget office. But I think the best thing to do would be to hire some staff to assist with the temperature taking in the different locations, but to look at what the most cost-effective method is. And probably the most cost-effective method would be hiring temporaries. Ms. Salazar, is that correct?
Well, I need to separate it into two categories. For the health department itself, Mr. Olivares had been asking and informing the committee he needed 6 LVNs, 4 medical tech ones, and I think 4 medical assistants, which are tantamount to a clerk, a medical clerk. Those he wanted to hire through a staffing agency. The rest is what the court needs to determine. We have requests for the courthouse. We have requests for the 2 outlying district courts. We have requests for all the JPs, and we have requests for the main tax office and all their substations. This is for a physical taking of temperatures. Once that is coupled with the scanners that are being reviewed by the committee, some scanners, though, do require that they be manned, and so that would help with that situation once the court decides how many scanners are going to be purchased. But most of the scanners will require that they be manned by someone. In the event it goes off that there's someone with a temperature, it must be manned. So at this point, that's why the agenda item reads in two parts, part 1 and part 2.
But they need to be manned by a nurse, or they need to be manned by a temporary position?
A temporary position would do it. The medical assistant that you see on the grids that were distributed late yesterday afternoon give you at the bottom, option 4, what those equivalent positions are paid by the county.
So on this, Commissioner, after reviewing with our clinical director here and our team and looking at the cost, it was more cost efficient to look at a temporary staff, but we just need to be able to get moving on that as quickly as possible to support not only us here at the health department, which we're needing some staff to deal with all the contact investigations and all our duties here, but we also have the support for the courthouse.
Eddie, why are you bringing that up? I'm talking about the request from the courthouse. I understand, and I'll support whatever you need for what you're doing, but how do you convolute that with what's being requested at the courthouse?
Sorry, sir.
Commissioner, if I may, that is why there you've got option 1 and option 2 on the agenda. There should be a discussion as to at the courthouse, the outlying courts, tax office, and
who's gonna lead that discussion? That's why I'm bringing it up now. Who's gonna lead
well,
that discussion?
I spoke. I've been speaking to Judge Noe Gonzalez as to the opening of the courthouse. They are requesting the continued staffing that's there, that's volunteers from different departments, but that can only be sustained so long. Thereafter, if that is coupled with the scanners, as of yesterday afternoon, he confirmed as far as scanners were concerned, he wanted one for every courtroom, for every JPs, and then thereafter, with all the tax offices. But as I say, those also have to be manned. They can be manned by a temporary clerical worker that is on the grid at the rates the county, if the county doesn't want to go through staffing services.
That was my question. I wanted to see what was the need for nurses. If are you going to have nurses at the courthouse, and if so, what kind of nursing work are they going to do? Medical work.
The grid, as the grid states, medical assistant, it's equivalent to what we would call a clerk.
Okay. Okay, sorry, Judge.
No, it's important that we had this discussion. I hope our call will not be too long. We could be back. Anyway, we're back to item 6A. Brother, you're on mute.
Judge, item 6A for your office is the VIDA agreement. It is discussion and approval of the 2020 service agreement between Hidalgo County and Valley Initiative for Development and Advancement, which is VIDA. As a bit of a background, we have had a contractual agreement with VIDA for a number of years now. And so this is a proposed agreement moving forward with a maximum dollar amount. Mind you, this comes under economic development, Judge. This
Correct.
does not come out of general fund.
What's the amount?
But I'm sorry?
$100,000.
$100,000, Commissioner, which is less than prior years.
Motion approved.
Is there a second? We have a motion to approve. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
7A.
Judge,
just to clarify on the record, that agreement with VIDA is subject to final legal review.
Correct. I don't believe we have the agreement.
right.
In the file.
Judge, Commissioners, with your permission, I don't see anyone with the tax office. What they were asking for Mr. Villarreal, what he is asking is authorization to increase the change fund at the Westaco substation from in the amount of $500 and the Westaco tax office in the amount of $800.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And for the record, the $500 amount is for the motor vehicle office.
Okay. Item 8A.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, Raul Severo, Human Resources. Judge, Commissioners, item 8A. First, we need waivers of the following policies. 1, Civil Service Commission Rules, Section 3.22, Hidalgo County Personnel Policy Manual, Section 6.27, and 3, Budget Amendment Policy for personnel-related amendments for the items that are going to follow.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 8B for the Elections Department. These are the temporary positions that we normally hire during election processes. Approval to extend 14 temporary full-time positions for 26 weeks, beginning 7/1/2020 through December. These positions expire at the end of June. There's 14 positions. There's 10 clerk ones and 4 election surveyor technicians. We need approval to extend them through the end of the year.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
11 of those 14 positions are filled, and we need to transfer those employees into the extended slots. So item number 2 is approval to waive the posting, hiring, and enrollment procedure and transfer the following employees effective 7/1 as follows. As listed, the employee numbers are listed, the slot numbers. There's 7 clerks and 4 election positions that are filled. We're simply going to transfer those employees to the extended slots, and the other vacant positions will be hired during the normal hiring process.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Item C, AC, Judge Commissioners. This is for the Community Service Agency. We hired positions. We need to correct agenda item 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, which changing the following 13 positions from full-time temporary to regular full-time effective 6/8/2020. These positions were hired with CARES money, and actually they're not temporary positions per se that are the normal 6 months positions. These are going to be for an extended period of time, so we're asking that we change them to regular full-time, subject to the grant funding. They're funded from the CARES Act. The estimated duration is through July of 2021, possibly more, so they will become regular instead of temporary employees, as listed.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Item D for the Sheriff's Office. This is a grant. The grant is a Violence Against Women grant. The grant was not extended. It was not renewed. So the sheriff is simply asking to delete these positions that were funded through the grant. They're vacant now. There's 4 deputy sheriff positions and 1 coordinator. So the action is simply to delete those positions from the salary schedule.
May I have a motion, please?
So move.
Is there a second? I'll second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item D.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
I need a vote, Commissioner Fuentes. I did an aye. Okay, did I get an aye from him?
You got 2 out of 3, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
Fuentes is frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen. Motion carries. Let the record show that Commissioner Fuentes and 2 and I voted in favor.
Okay.
Okay, Judge, we're going to have to pause. We don't have a quorum right now.
Okay.
Commissioner Torres, are you able to turn your video on? I think we might have lost her also.
Right.
Well, she had to go to a funeral. She'll be right back.
Okay.
I just got word that Precinct 1 lost power in their office, so he may be disconnected for a moment.
Thank you, sir.
Is Commissioner Ellie back?
Judge, she mentioned she'd be back about 10:40. Well, I guess it's 10:40.
We had a little bit of audio, but it was broken up. I'm not sure if she's having connection problems.
What time are you going to jump off, Judge? 10:45?
I'm going to jump off, about 10:55. The call is at 11. Yeah, these are hard times right now. We're going to have a big number today, looks like.
You want to take a recess until we can get everybody on?
Sure.
Noah,
Yes, ma'am.
can we get a short recess until we can get our third back on?
Yes, let me tell Jackie. I'll let you know in just a second when we're off.
Okay, we're going to go back to an item that we didn't get it clear.
I'm going to reread item 8D for the Sheriff's Office. This is Human Resources. The item is approval of the following personnel actions effective next full pay period, 7/6/2020. I was explaining that this is a grant that expired. There were 5 positions that were funded through the grant. The positions are vacant now, and the sheriff is asking that we delete those positions from the salary schedule.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 8E, this is for the 275th District Court, Judge Marla Cuellar. She's asking approval to extend the following temporary full-time position for 26 weeks, beginning 7/1/2020 and ending 12/31. The judge has a temporary position that she hired to assist with a case backlog, and it's a legal assistant too. She's asking approval to continue this temporary position for another 26 weeks.
Is this going to cause any issues with other courts?
Other courts do not have currently a temporary position. She initially asked the court for this position for a period of time to assist with a case log that had backlogged in her court when she took office. The position was first created in January of 2019.
So it's been around a year and a half?
Yes, sir.
Can we let her know that this would be the last time since?
We can inform the judge that, you know, there's been ample time to address the backlog, and this could be what the court is asking.
I mean, I'll move to approve it, so it's subject to just letting her know that this is going to be the last time.
I will. Thank you, sir.
I'll second.
Do you have a motion and a second? Those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item number 8F, County Court at Law number 1, approval of the following personnel action effective next full pay period, 7/6/2020. The judge is simply reassigning some of the interpreter pay. The judges are able to, and they have the ability to reassign interpreter pay to within their staff. He is actually reassigning the $6,000 allowance that was formerly or that currently is assigned to the assistant court coordinator. Is asking to split it so that the assistant court coordinator will get $2,000 of that interpreter pay, and the bailiff is given the other $4,000. So that way he has 2 people available to interpret. It's within the same amount. It's just split up.
Move.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 8G, this is for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 3, Place 2. The judge is asking approval to create a temporary full-time position for 10 weeks, beginning 6/24/2020 and ending 8/24. Slot temporary 009 at Clerk 3, Grade 5. The judge has an employee that is going on maternity or has left for maternity leave, and he's asking for that we create a temporary slot to assist him while the employee is on maternity leave, and the position would expire when the employee returns.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have, Judge and Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Judge, Commissioners, for the record, we do have Commissioner Fuentes that joined the meeting via a phone.
Good. Thank you. Item 11A.
Item 11A, Judge, this is Jaime Longoria with the Hidalgo County Community Service Agency. I wanted to give an update regarding the Hidalgo County Rental and Mortgage Assistance Program. Judge and Commissioners, very briefly, as you know, on May 26th, you all authorized me to hire some folks and to begin the Rental and Mortgage Assistance Program. I'm informing the court that on June 15th, in those subsequent days, we were able to interview and hire and also begin the training process for 11 staff members that would be administering the Rent and Mortgage Assistance Program, administering that $7.5 million that you all allocated. I'll tell you that our target is to serve a little over 4,000 residents who live in the rural areas of Hidalgo County, rural areas plus Granjeno and Sullivan City. I was notified by those communities and the precinct commissioner that those small communities wanted to partner with us to be able to opt into our rental and mortgage assistance program. The eligibility requirements, Judge and Commissioners, first and foremost, this would be for residents that were affected by COVID-19 post March the 13th, either through direct effect, which is illness, or through the loss of wages, loss of job, and those kinds of things. We've pretty much described that these eligibility requirements in a document that'll be distributed widely once we start the public campaign. I already mentioned they must live in the rural areas of Hidalgo County, plus Sullivan City or Granjeno. They must be fall below 200% of federal poverty. That 200% of federal poverty for a family of four, Judge and Commissioners, would be about $52,400 or less. That's a criteria that we use across the board in our other programs, so that hopefully the referral process will be a seamless process for those residents needing other kinds of services. Applicants would be able to request up to 2 months worth of assistance for either rental assistance or mortgage assistance. Both of those payments, those types of payments, would be made directly to the landlord and or directly to the mortgage company. So there's no direct transfer of funds to the residents themselves. The 2 months of assistance would go directly to the landlord or to the mortgage company. The application process is going to be laid out on the county website. We've been working with the county planners to ensure that it'll be on the county website. And we'll also have a phone bank of operators that'll be on hand to take applications by phone. So those will be the only two mediums that will accept applications for the rent and mortgage assistance program. What we intend to do is on June the 29th, which is this Monday coming up, we will have what we call a soft opening. That'll be, we intend to unveil the program and open the program to justices of the peace, Texas Rural Legal Aid, and some of the housing advocate organizations. They'll be able to submit applications to us, recognizing that the Justice of the Peace courts, as well as Texas Rural Legal Aid, are handling a lot of the eviction processes in the county. So we wanted to make sure and include them in the very initial opening, because we feel that those are the most vulnerable populations that are in the most precarious situations across the county. Then on July 6th, the following week, we would open the window, so to speak, to the general public and accept applications to the general public. We're considering a limit on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis of applications that we would accept, just because getting 5,000 applications at one time does not really serve anyone. So we'd like to do it in a more measured way, a more structured way. It might be 500, it might be 1,000 per week. We'll have to see how this unfolds. We anticipate being able to assist a little over 4,000 county residents as we model the program. Certainly, I know the door has been open as far as communicating with Commissioner's Court. If there's other needs, then certainly I would be willing to come back to the court and see how see if we can request additional funds if they're needed. At this moment, Judge, Commissioners, I would entertain any questions or any comments.
I think I'll save all my questions and comments for our little session tomorrow, Mr. Longoria.
Okay. Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Well, we appreciate what you're doing. That's an important assignment. Hopefully everything goes well.
Absolutely, Judge. We've been working really hard to implement the lessons learned from our sister programs across the state and across the country, and we hope that it's going to go as well as we possibly can. Now, it is fair to say that our regular program has been assisting families across Hidalgo County since the beginning of the pandemic. We're starting to see more foreclosures. We're starting to see more families that are facing eviction. So the two programs can pretty much work seamlessly to avoid many of those if we can.
Okay.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
yes, sir.
Okay. Well, Jaime, thank you very much for all you do. I'm sorry, we're completely out of power over here, so I'm working off a laptop, and cell phone, so I apologize for that. But good job on all that you're doing. Thank you very much. And Judge, I'm going to move from one office to another because there's no lighting in here at all.
Okay. Well, I'm getting ready to get off myself. I've got to make a call with the governor's office. So are you still going to be on, Commissioner? Because we're going to lose a quorum.
Yes, I was just letting you know I'm moving physically with my laptop to another room that has light.
I'm going to ask Commissioner Cantu to please take over the meeting, and I'll return as soon as I can.
Just one addition, commissioners and judges, just wanted to mention, we have planned to embed our team, our team of staff members will be in each of the precinct offices. So that's an added benefit to having them a little closer to the constituency. So we've got a team of 3 that will be in, actually a team of 4 that will be in each of the precinct offices as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you for all you do, Mr. Longoria.
Thank you so much. Item 11B is discussion, consideration, and possible action to accept amendment to the fiscal year 2019 Comprehensive Energy Assistance Program contract number 581-9000-2984 from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs for program year 2019 with authorization for Jaime Longoria to sign any and all pertinent documents. Commissioners, just wanted to let you all know this 2019 money, I'm proud to say, is not our money, but this is money that came from another program across the state that wasn't able to spend their money. So they've opened the window, so to speak, they being the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. And we were actually able to bring home an additional $1,834,501 to Hidalgo County to serve the people of Hidalgo County.
Fantastic.
Good job, man. Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
IT Department.
Good morning, everybody. Item 12A, authorization and approval to purchase new GPS units and wireless devices with service plans through the county's membership participation with contract DIR TSO 3415 with Verizon Wireless and contract 4400006645 with Unicom Government, Inc. for the following. And we've got for Precinct 1, 3 units, Precinct 4, 4 units, Tax Office, 2 units, and District Attorney's Office, 2 units, as listed below.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you all very much.
Good morning. Elections, this is Yvonne Ramon with my discussion regarding election updates, keeping in mind that this Monday, June 29th, starts the early voting for our primary runoff election. We are open 7 to 7, but also it's important that the community know that Friday, July 3rd and Saturday, July 4th are federal holidays, so the polls will be closed. Other than that, we resume on Sunday, July 5th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., continue Monday through Friday, Monday, July 6th through Friday, July 10th, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., with the election day being July 14th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I would like to recommend that everyone go onto our website to see what's on your ballot. If you are voting as a Republican, you may have 1 or 2 elections on your ballot. We've got District 15 for United States Representative, and we also have a precinct chair for Precinct 96. So please go on the website and look at your ballot. For Democrats, you may have United States Senator and Railroad Commission. And for those that are in State Senator District 27, you may have that race on your ballot. Or if you are in Precinct 4, Place 1, you may have a Justice of the Peace. So don't go to the poll location without being informed. Make sure that you know what is on your ballot. Any questions regarding the election coming up? Please know that today we are meeting with all the entities in which the poll locations are located. We're going to talk about the protocols that are in place, the orders that have been given by our county judge and you, the commissioners. So we will be discussing to see how they can help us, and we be prepared. Then on this Friday, we will meet with our judges. We will discuss and go over videos and answer any questions that they may have regarding PPEs and the safety of all our poll workers as well as all our voters. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me or email me so that I can answer any questions that you may have. Do you have any questions for me today? Okay, if not, I will go on to my item B, which is the 2020 Elections Chapter 19 funding, approval of the certification of revenues by the county auditor for the fiscal year 2020 Chapter 19 funds in the amount of $142,655.05 and appropriation of same.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Planning Department, TJ.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. TJ Arredondo with the Planning Department. The first two items are up for preliminary approval. First item is Rancho El Viejito subdivision in Precinct 1, a 3-lot single-family subdivision in a flood zone C. Drainage is natural percolation. It was approved by the City of Donna. Water is provided by North Alamo Water Supply Corporation, and septic tanks will be used. And the next item is Silver Heights Precinct 4, a 45 single-family lot and 2 commercial lot subdivision in a flood zone B. There will be an estimated 6 streetlights and 3 filling stations for the subdivision. Drainage is provided by will be provided by a storm sewer system. It was approved by the City of Edinburgh. Water will be provided by North Alamo Water Supply and sanitary sewer by North Alamo Water Supply. We're recommending preliminary approval for both.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Next item is the final approval with a variance request. Amended plat of Amigo Estates commercial subdivision in Precinct 4 is a 1-lot subdivision and a flood zone X. Drainage is provided by on-site detention. It was approved by the City of Edinburgh. Water is provided by North Alamo Water Supply Corporation, and the septic tank has been installed. The variance is to reduce the front setback from 50 feet to 30 feet. We're recommending approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next 4 items are up for final approval. First subdivision, Midnight Run subdivision in Precinct 4, a 1-lot subdivision in a flood zone X. Drainage is natural percolation. It was approved by the City of Edinburgh. Water is provided by North Alamo Water Supply, and the septic tank has been installed. Next subdivision, Ruben Valdez subdivision, Precinct 4, 2 single-family lots and 1 multifamily lot in a flood zone X. Drainage is natural percolation. It was approved by the City of McAllen. Water will be provided by Sharyland Water Supply Corporation. Sanitary sewer will be provided by Sharyland Water Supply Corporation. The next subdivision, La Plazita Phase 2 in Precinct 1, a 4 single-family lot subdivision in a flood zone X. Drainage is provided by natural percolation. It was approved by the City of Weslaco. Water is provided by North Alamo Water Supply, and the septic tanks have been installed. The next subdivision, Abram Estates Number 1 in Precinct 3, is a 121-lot single-family lot subdivision in a flood zone C. 12 streetlights have been installed. 6 filling stations have been installed. Drainage is a storm sewer system. It was approved by the City of Palmview. Water is provided by Agua Sud and sanitary sewer by Agua Sud. Abram Road is paved and 5 internal streets have been paved. We're recommending final approval for the 4 subdivisions.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
The next 6 items are all final approval with a financial guarantee. First item, replat of Lot 2, Fidencio Garcia State Subdivision, Precinct 1, 2 single-family lots in a flood zone X. Drainage is natural percolation. It's in the rural area of the county. Water is provided by North Alamo Water Supply Corporation. The OSSF for 2A has been escrowed and Lot 2B has been installed. They're requesting final approval with a cash deposit in the amount of $1,500 for 1 septic system. And the next subdivision is Rio Rico Ranchettes in Precinct 1, 4 single-family lot subdivision in a flood zone C. Drainage is provided by natural percolation. It's in the rural area of the county. Water is provided by Military Highway Water Supply Corporation, and the septic tanks have been escrowed. They're requesting final approval with a cash deposit in the amount of $6,000 for 4 septic systems and $8,415 for drainage improvements. Next item, Ranchettes on Monte Cristo Subdivision, Precinct 1, a 10-lot subdivision in a flood zone X. 6 streetlights have been installed. 2 filling stations are proposed. It's in the rural area of the county. Water is provided by North Alamo, and the septic tanks have been escrowed. They're requesting final approval with a cash deposit in the amount of $15,000 for 10 septic systems, $9,000 for 2 filling stations, and $14,200 for drainage improvements. And the next item is San Lucio number 3 subdivision in Precinct 1, a 13-lot subdivision in a flood zone C. 2 filling stations have been escrowed with the city of Donna. Drainage is provided by regrading the existing roadside ditch. It was approved by the city of Donna. Water is provided by North Alamo Water Supply Corporation, and the septic tanks have been escrowed. They're requesting final approval with a cash deposit in the amount of $19,500 for 13 septic systems and $6,200 for drainage improvements. And the next subdivision is San Marcos number 2 subdivision in Precinct 1, a 47 single-family lot subdivision in a flood zone X. 11 street lights have been installed. 4 filling stations have been escrowed. Drainage is a storm sewer system, and it's in the rural area of the county. Water is provided by North Alamo, and the septic tanks have been installed. They are requesting final approval with a cash deposit in the amount of $12,700 for 4 filling stations. And the last subdivision is Via Mesa Estates in Precinct 1, 65 single-family lots in a flood zone C. 11 street lights have been installed. 4 filling stations will be escrowed. Drainage is a storm sewer system. It was approved by the city of Donna. Water is provided by North Alamo, and septic tanks have been installed. They're requesting final approval with a cash deposit in the amount of $20,000 for 4 filling stations. Recommending final approval with a letter with financial guarantee for all 6.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the last item is a discussion and consideration to accept donation deed from PDP Mile 4 LTD, a Texas limited partnership for a property legally described as 11.697 acres out of Pueblo de Palmas Phase 22 and Pueblo de Palmas Phase 23 out of lots 21, 25, and 29, amended map of Santa Cruz Gardens Unit 2 in Hidalgo County, comprising of approximately 11.697 acres to be utilized as a county park. They have built out soccer fields, they have benches, a recreation set, restrooms, and an exercise area. This has been reviewed by legal, and I believe Commissioner Torres is aware of the proposal.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item, approval to rescind action previously taken by Commissioners Court on 4/21/2020 to approve a contribution in aid of construction agreement for electrical distribution service with AEP for the Precinct 2 Javelina Drive Extension Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. You want to handle that, Valde, or do you want to table?
Yes, sir. Let me, for Commissioner Precinct 3, I did get a call that he got tied up and was not able to make the meeting. So there is a request for approval to accept the counter offer to purchase a tract of land known as parcel number 9 associated with the Veterans Boulevard project, with authority for the county judge to sign the administrative evaluation and approval form.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Morning, Commissioner Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget and Management. Item 17A is presentation and discussion on the CARES Act relief fund projects. Commissioners, y'all should have received a PowerPoint presentation on these CARES Act funds. We received the $151 million in CARES Act funds back in April 22nd. Since then, we've established 5 different committees to be able to manage this funds. We have an incurred cost committee that's being shared by myself and Mayor David Suarez from Precinct 1 that are administering all our incurred costs, and including the municipal allocations. So we're managing roughly about $90 million. We also have the Fixed Asset Committee, which is managing roughly about $17.5 million, which is shared by Ms. Belinda Reyes and Mr. Eddie Olivares. We have the Economic Recovery Committee, which is managing roughly about $11.6 million, and that's being headed by Ms. Laura Matamoros and Mr. Armando Garza. And the fourth committee that we have is the Internet Connectivity Committee, which is administering $20 million of those dollars, and that's headed by our IT director, Mr. Daniel Salinas, and also by Mr. Armando Garza. And finally, the Testing Committee, which is administering roughly about $12 million, is being headed by Mr. Olivares. These five committees are handling the total of the $151 million that we received back in April. On slide 3, I have just a couple of the projects that were the incurred cost committees handling, administering. We have the PPE acquisitions that we're doing, totaling roughly about $4.5 million. We have telework capabilities for all the county departments, roughly about $500,000. We've reserved roughly about $1 million for emergency leave and expanded FMLA costs related to COVID-19 leave for the county employees. And also expect to spend roughly about $2 million for personnel costs, which will include overtime and also substantially different use. That's all being documented via daily activity reports, and we'll be presenting those to the court as well for reimbursement to the general fund. And then the biggest line item for the incurred cost committee that they'll be administering will be the municipal allotments, the interlocals that we're having with all the municipalities within Hidalgo County, and that total amount is roughly $82.5 million that the incurred cost committee will be administering. On slide 4, I have the different projects for the Fixed Assets Committee. Again, we have the lab cost that will be taken care of by the Urban County Program. However, we do have laboratory equipment and other miscellaneous costs that'll be incurred. We have the stockpile facility and various equipments that will need to be purchased for our stockpile facility for the emergency management. We have some upgrades to our forensic center, and then also some upgrades to our county clinics for generators and transfer switches. And then for the health department as well, we have upgrades to our electronic medical records, and then other technology and data communications that'll ensure HIPAA compliance. We have the temporary housing for some of the COVID staff that has been brought on board by the health department, and then various public health support equipment, such as disinfectant machines and things of that nature that we'll be utilizing here for the county and the county facilities. And then we also have some facility retrofits. Right now, we have roughly about 3.5 earmarked for facility retrofits, which would allow county facilities to be retrofitted for touchless, automatic opening doors, touchless faucets and everything else to be able to reduce the spread of COVID-19 within county facilities. And we also have the acquisition of some temperature screening devices. Right now, we're going through the process of looking at the different options that we have for those screening devices, making sure that there's no information recorded within those devices, make sure everything's HIPAA compliant. We will be probably bringing that to court, hopefully within the next week. And then we have a contingency of roughly about $3 million. I know the court had been looking also at a facility to be able to expand social distancing, maybe being able to do tax payments and motor vehicle registrations via drive-through. So I know that's still a project that the committee's still looking at and hoping to bring back to the court for the court's consideration at a future date. And those are basically the projects for the Fixed Assets Committee. Economic Recovery, again, court already approved the Mortgage and Rental Assistance Program a few weeks ago, and Mr. Longoria mentioned that as well earlier on today's court presentation. And then following this item, we also have the small business grants that we hope to have for the court's consideration and approval, and hopefully get that started as well in July to be able to assist the citizens of Hidalgo County. So those are the two main projects that the Economic Recovery Committee is undertaking. And then we have the Internet Connectivity Committee, which is administering roughly about $20 million. And this is going to be to assist for distance learning within the rural community, to be able to provide Wi-Fi capabilities for students. And this is something that Mr. Salinas is working on along with all the precincts, trying to identify locations where we can provide this Wi-Fi capabilities to the rural residents. And finally, it's
Thio, can you pause there? We're
yes.
Short a commissioner right now. Did we lose Commissioner Torres? Oh, there you are. Okay.
No,
I'm here. Okay.
Oh, she's there.
Okay. And finally, we have the testing committee, which is headed by Mr. Olivares. And again, he's trying to establish partnerships with UTRGV. And we also have other staff that we would need to bring on board for screening, and also screening at the courthouses and the different judicial facilities throughout the county. He also has a program for vaccination that he's trying to get going as well. As soon as we have a vaccine, he wants to be ready to be able to mobilize and be able to administer those vaccines as quickly as possible. So we have some funds earmarked for that. And then as well, some testing instruments and some other testing kits and supplies for testing for the COVID-19. Commissioners, I don't know if you all have any questions. I just wanted to provide you all a quick update on the activities that the committees are undertaking, and that you'll probably see a lot more of these items coming on the agenda for the court's consideration the coming weeks.
This is helpful, Sergio. Thank you for putting this together, at least so we can see where we're at and where we're going.
Yeah, we'll try to utilize something similar to update the court on a weekly basis, make sure we know exactly where we're at and where we're headed.
Yeah, Sergio, I'll echo what commissioners both said. Was good job. So, for example, one thing I'd like to see as you move forward, Sergio, is let's say out of the incurred cost committee, under PPE, that line item, you have $4.5 million that are budgeted here. Can you give us like a running total, the 4.5, and then where we spent the money and what the current balance is or what the remaining balance is, so that we know kind of as time goes on how much money we have left for particular, goals or direction that we want to go?
Definitely, Commissioner. I'll provide. I'll condense this all into a little summary sheet, and then have a running total of what's been incurred and encumbered, and then what's still available for future use.
Okay. And in that list of what's incurred, if you can kind of just give us a detail of what has been done, whether it's gloves or, if we bought something, if we bought a generator, just so that we can kind of know what has already been allocated to those, what's been expended already.
Sure, definitely. We'll provide additional backup to this to have more of the detail that you can see on this as well.
That'll be great. Thank you.
We'll provide a summary format, and then we'll provide a detailed format so that you can actually take a good look at what's actually been purchased and then sort of what's still planned to be purchased for future.
Okay, thank you.
You may also include, Sergio, if there's an opportunity or there's a decision made by us or the committees, for instance, if 4.5 has been set aside and 2.5 is doing is enough, then you may put in there in a column 2 million potentially available. We need to make a decision so that we move that quickly and not just leave it lingering and then we don't end up spending it.
Yes, Commissioner. Definitely, that's one of the things that the committee is also very aware of. Again, when we first did this budget, preliminary budget on these items, we really had only been in this situation roughly about maybe a month and a half. So a lot of these numbers are a moving target, and yeah, we plan to reassess. The committees plan to reassess, on an interim basis, and then provide the court recommendations as far as whether we see us not being able to utilize it. Again, we're very cognizant of the December 30th deadline for the spending of these funds, so we definitely want to provide the court a heads up as far as if we need to maybe reallocate some of these funds to other uses. But we'll include that in that summary sheet as well.
Thank you.
That was just presentation discussion. No action is needed on that item. On item 17B, 17B1, discussion, consideration and action to approve a necessary CARES Act relief fund expenditure to cover costs not accounted for in the current budget and cannot be lawfully funded by line item, allotment, or allocation for the Hidalgo County CARES Small Business Grant Program in order to assist with expenses associated with provisions of economic support in connection with the ongoing COVID-19 public health emergency. The court, having reviewed the agenda item briefing, herein finds that such expenditure is reasonable and necessary for the intended use. Just Commissioners, again, this is for the small business grants. We hope to provide at least 1,000 small business grants to the rural businesses of Hidalgo County, ranging from 3,000 to 5,000, depending on the business size. So we have that for the court's consideration.
Does this need action?
Yes.
Okay. Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 17B2 is presentation and discussion and approval of the Hidalgo County CARES Small Business Grant Program eligibility criteria. Commissioners, we did provide the program statement, which includes the eligibility criteria. We're recommending approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Item 17B3 is exemption from competitive bidding requirements pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262024A1, an item that must be procured in case of public calamity if it is necessary to make the purchase promptly to relieve the necessity of the citizens, and an item to preserve and protect the public health and safety of the citizens.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And item 17B4, discussion, consideration, and approval of the service agreement between Hidalgo County and People Fund for the program management component to process applications and submit a list of qualifying applicants to the Budget Office for Commissioners Court approval of the Hidalgo County CARES Small Business Grant Program. We're recommending approval subject to final legal review and approval.
Did I see $75 per application? Is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay. Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. Item 17C1, discussion, consideration, and approval of the CARES Act interlocal cooperation agreement between Hidalgo County and the various cities as listed on Exhibit A, with authority for the county judge to sign the required documents. Judge, Commissioners, right now, as of earlier this morning, we've had 16 municipalities submit their executed interlocals and proposed budgets. We're still pending receipt of six additional interlocals. We are requesting approval of all of the 22 interlocals subject to receipt of the executed interlocal and the proposed budget.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And item 17C2 is approval of the 20% interlocal cooperation agreement advance payment upon receipt of the executed agreements and proposed budgets from each respective city, with authority for the county treasurer to issue check after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by the county auditor.
Move for approval.
Second.
Sergio, any idea on when you think they would receive a check? The soonest that they would receive a check?
I've been working with the auditors. We hope to be able to issue something out before the end of the week. At the latest, it would be Tuesday of next week. But they did request that we place this on the agenda. That way, they have court approval to issue the check prior to the next agenda.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 17D is approval of advance funding agreement between Hidalgo County and the Texas Department of Transportation for the bridge replacement rehabilitation of Nittler Road over drainage ditch 0.2 miles west of FM 88, CSJ number 0921022446, and approval of order authorizing the county judge to sign the agreement for said project.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 17E is approval of salary schedule changes as per Exhibit A in accordance with the Hidalgo County Classification and Compensation Pay Plan. And these are for 3 sheriff's deputy, senior deputies, and the backup is being changed to reflect that this is a reassignment, not a lateral transfer, and also a maintenance 2 position that needs to be adjusted as a result of a promotion.
Move for
And these
approval.
are in accordance with the pay plan.
Second.
I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 17F1 is approval to process payment for invoice 77087 from Ppe Inc. in the amount of $7,542.56 in relation to the fiscal year 2020 Vine maintenance fee for the third quarter after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by the county auditor.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Item 17F2 is approval to submit to the Office of the Attorney General of Texas the fiscal year 2020 Texas Vine grant reimbursement maintenance invoice in the amount of $7,542.56 and the Texas Statewide Automated Victims Notification Service quarterly verification of continuing production records with authority for the county judge to sign the required documents.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 17G1 is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for revenues received from the U.S. Treasury relating to the CARES Act relief funds and appropriation of the same.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 17G2 is approval of 2020 appropriation of funds from the Road and Bridge unassigned fund balance into the Precinct 3 road maintenance program in the amount of $100,000 to fund operating expenses.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
And the last item, item 17G3 is approval of 2020 appropriation of funds from the Road and Bridge unassigned fund balance for Precinct 1 road maintenance in the total amount of $29,917.29. And these are to fund road expenditures.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Sergio. Marty?
Yes, sir. 18A1, A, discussion, consideration, approval of the CARES Act Relief Fund expenditures to cover costs not accounted for in the current budget and cannot be lawfully funded by line item allotment or allocation for staffing services in order to assist the county's medical and public health expenses addressing ongoing COVID-19 public health emergency. The court, having reviewed the agenda item briefing, herein finds that such expenditure is reasonable and necessary for the intended use.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 2 is a requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262-024A 1 and 2, attached herein.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
And C is requesting to hire licensed vocational nurse 2s, LVN 2s, which are LVN 2s, medical technician 1s, and medical clerk 1s for 1, the health department. And I'm going to take that one first. That would be, he's requesting 6 vocational nurses, 4 medical techs, and 4 to 6 medical clerks.
That's to work at the health department, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is directly from health department.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
The second item under C is additional medical techs or medical clerks. The number for each to be finalized right now between the requests that I've been receiving, it would be anywhere between 26 to 30 following the, and this is for county areas, elected offices and or departments, including but not limited to the courthouse, outlying district courts, justice of the peace courts, tax office, main and substations.
And Miss Marty, as well as the courthouse annex buildings.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I think it's right now we've taken account anywhere, and I was extending it to 30. Yesterday we had counted 26, I think 30 to 35.
How many different locations?
You're talking about the courthouse proper, the 2 outlying district courts, the annex courts, the JP courts, the main tax office, and all the substations. Now, this number that I've given you between 30, let's say no more than 30 to 35, would be in the event we also get all the scanners that are being requested. Judge Noe Gonzalez has requested a scanner per courtroom. And that's why the number is higher, because then every courtroom scanner would require a person.
Couldn't we just do 1 scanner at the bottom of the courthouse when they first come in?
Well, that's what we had thought, but Judge Gonzalez says that his opening plan requires a scanner at each courtroom.
It's like having a metal detector in each courtroom when they're already scanned at the bottom.
I understand, Commissioner.
That doesn't make sense.
Is Sergio still on? Yeah, so Marty, let me interrupt for just a second. This is kind of what I am referring to, Sergio. You know, when we're dealing with this, I'm not sure out of your presentation, which line item are we talking about and where is the funding? Is it in the incurred cost? Is it in fixed assets?
That'll be on fixed assets under the temperature reading devices.
Right, but the personnel would come under incurred cost, right?
Correct.
And so that's kind of what I mean. It's a little confusing to know which monies this is coming out of. So when we have agenda items like this, if we can identify which line item it's going to be allocated from, so we know, where that is originating and where it's coming from.
Yes, Commissioner. We'll make sure to make that annotation.
Thank you. Go ahead, Marty. I'm sorry.
No problem. I did give Judge Gonzalez yesterday 2 options. One, as suggested by Commissioner Ellie, would be the personnel to man scanners at, I believe, up to 4 entrances at the courthouse. But his response on the 2 options was, and he had spoken to me about it, is that they wanted a scanner in each one of the courtrooms.
Yeah, but even then, the scanners all vary. I mean, they could be as basic as 10,000. They could be as complicated as 300,000. I mean, I don't know that without having the specifications on what exactly we're looking at.
The committee has been given a recap of I don't know how many, 6 or 7 options that the committee is reviewing. That's headed by Precinct 4's Ms. Valinda. And they range anywhere from $2,000 to, more expensive. And as it was, I believe they were going to try to narrow it down to maybe 3 options, especially taking into account that no HIPAA compliance issues were violated with these scanners. But most of them did have the criteria that you needed to man them. Now, one of the options also being explored, which is in that recap grid, is the leasing of the scanners as opposed to outright buying them.
Right, but are we talking about like scanners that look like metal detectors and do full body temperature scans?
They're on a stand. They have a small screen, and you would come up to it. It would then I would believe it scans for temperature. If indeed someone has a elevated temperature, then it beeps or makes some kind of an alarm, and that's why the manning of them is important, because then some procedure has to take place after that.
But that would have all been taken care of at the initial 4 entrances to the courthouse. I mean, I personally, as a constituent, I wouldn't want to be having my temperature taken every single time, and I wouldn't want my, something alarming and beeping, letting everybody know that I have a temperature. Isn't that an HIPAA compliance issue as well? I mean, like, if you have something that's alarming, that's not. I don't know how.
We don't have all the details on the scanners. So.
Well, the scanner merely alerts you of an elevated temperature, but it doesn't then transfer that information to anyone except the person manning. They will not be allowed to enter the courthouse. I agree with the commissioner, but the request that we received, I'm going on the numbers, was a scanner at every courtroom. In addition to the entrance.
The other thing is that if they're inside the courthouse and then they get a temperature reading, you just put everybody that's in the hallway at risk.
Absolutely. That's why it makes sense to scan them at the bottom or on the first floor as they're coming in. Make sure that if they do have a fever, then they need to be asked to leave or whatever. But I mean, if they go to the second or third floor, forget it. They've already potentially, affected.
I can certainly ask Judge Gonzalez to give us more detail as to why the request is that every courtroom have its own scanner. He did not explain any further other than answer the 2 options that I presented to him.
How many would we have to, if right now we wanted to go, because there's other departments that are waiting for this request. If we wanted to back some of the ones out at the courthouse, how many would we approve?
Much less than that. At the courthouse, we have at least 20 plus courts. And then the 2 outlying courts, those are standalone, you'd need those in separate locations. So at least 20.
And it's not just the device, it's also the manpower.
The manning of the yes, Commissioner, correct. Some of these
are 15 for now.
For now, well, you still need the tax office, JPs.
No, back out 15. Remove 15 from the
yes. We could remove, let's say, make it, instead of 30 to 35, we make it 20.
Okay.
To begin with? Up to 20. Up to 20, yes.
But in Marty, the detail, it doesn't have any of the...
No, but this is 20, we're talking personnel, we're not talking scanners. We're talking personnel.
Okay.
And these personnel are temporary, or are they going to be permanent?
Oh, no, they're temporary. Commissioner, I mean, we don't know. I would be taking a guess that at least through the end of the year, we don't know where we'll be. Will there be a vaccine? But this, for now, would be at least through the end of the year at the very minimum. Now, as we presented earlier and as Mr. Cruz had indicated, you've approved the ones for the health department. We can also entertain the option of hiring temporary clerks under what the county pays as opposed to going to the staffing services.
So these people, these 20 are from a staffing, or are they from?
Right now, the way it's presented is staffing, but you have the option not to hire those and proceed to entertain creating part-time positions.
Part-time or temporary?
Temporary part-time or temporary full-time until.
And so let me ask you this. Why would we need to go through a staffing? Why was that even an option here?
At the beginning, it was because there was a request from the health department for their department. They are needed at the health department. Okay, included with that was then the reopening of the courthouse and the request by the administrative judge, that being Noel Gonzalez, that we needed people to take temperatures before they entered, which is being done right now on a voluntary basis. There's one for purchasing, there's other departments, executive office.
Yes, Marty, I believe that the answer is that the staffing was faster. So we can make a decision to go through staffing, which would be a little bit quicker, or we could do part-time, which would take maybe an additional 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I would defer to Mr. Cruz. I don't know. And you know,
that was the reason, right?
Yes, that was the reason. You're correct, Commissioner.
What are the wishes of the court?
Aside from being faster, is there a cost savings? Is this costing us more?
Staffing would be more expensive, Commissioner.
It's much more expensive to go through staffing. Yes, much more. There's a range of the clerks that you were looking for. The county pays about $12 an hour. These range through staffing anywhere from $30 to $50 to $45 an hour.
Oh my gosh. That's a big, huge difference.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
It's almost twice as much. Commissioner, the only thing we were going to be recommending if we do some type of in-house staffing, hiring additional temporary staffing, would be for the county to provide health insurance for those members that are being hired on a temporary basis. Maybe even hire. I mean, our current policy doesn't allow for payment of health insurance for temporary staff, so we would just be requesting that type of waiver, or either creating them as a full-time with an end date of the end of the year.
Guys, don't we also have some like local paramedics that probably are available to us to some degree? Do they have to be LVNs or?
No, Commissioner, for the tasks that we're asking, other than for the health department, those are required. But for these tasks, I believe, no, they have to be just clerks. It's just someone to man that in the event we get the scanners. But for now, since we don't have the scanners, we need someone taking temps at the entrances, which is being done now at the courthouse. But we don't have anybody doing it for the JPs. We don't have anyone doing it for the tax office or its substations.
Marty, so why don't we do this, since we still want to see if we really need 35 as opposed to 20, why don't we bring it back on the next agenda as, no matter what, as part-time instead of staffing? And
that's an option, yes.
And see if we need 20 or 35 or something.
Okay, so no action on the number 2 under C. And I can finish off the agenda item. So we would be requesting to hire licensed vocational nurse, LVNs, medical technicians, and medical clerks for the health department.
We already approved that, Marty.
Right, but I need to finish reading the caption, Commissioner. To one or more multiple qualified vendors awarded contracts through the General Services Administration, offering the most advantageous rates and availability of staff from those who responded to Hidalgo County's request for quotes. And they're listed as Pro Health, Med Trust, and AHS staffing. If I could have action.
I hate to ask, what are we paying for those? But
the grid has been provided to everyone, to the chiefs and the members of the court, Commissioner.
It's not in our package, or it's not on the
No,
agenda.
it was emailed last night, because anything with pricing, legal counsel has requested that we put it on a shared drive for confirmation, and it was being finalized, and it was all sent out yesterday afternoon to all members of the court and the chiefs of staff. Plus other.
You know, when it was emailed or attached last night, unless you let us know, hey, we've uploaded it and we've attached it, I'm not gonna know that, you know, hey, it's now it's there. Go take a look at it before your 9:45 commissioners court meetings.
I understand, Commissioner. I gave you the rates on the medical clerks. Those are anywhere, as I said, from the range is from $25 to $45. On your medical techs, the range is from $35 to $48. And on your LVNs, the range is $39 to $50. There's only 3 companies. They're all General Services Administration awarded vendors, and they're the ones that have committed to be able to find the staff. Staffing is going to be a problem to find, because most of, as Commissioner Eddie alluded to, if there's people who have time on their hands, they're going to go through a staffing company to get extra work.
That makes sense on the LVNs. It just didn't make sense on the.
Yeah, on the LVNs, it does make sense, knowing pricing.
But the health department has said they need the LVNs, the medical technicians, and the medical clerks.
Right. I'm fine with the health department. I think we need to do a little more work on the court.
Yes.
Courthouse.
I agree.
So do we need
action?
Do we need action?
Yes, sir.
I thought we took action on C1.
C1, yes. But I read through it so that you can. I think Commissioner Ellie asked the question on how much this was going to cost. Unless I'm incorrect, I don't.
We already approved C1.
C1 is approved, Marty.
You didn't. Okay. You did. She had not read through the entire item. So you got through the first part, but you didn't get through the second part about allowing her to use those particular vendors.
Can we get another motion, guys, on C1?
And what is the motion, Josie?
You're gonna approve item C, and if it's if you're inclined to, then you're going to approve it as stated on the agenda.
C1.
I make a motion to approve C1 as stated in the agenda.
Second.
Go for it, Judge. I turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Well, I have a motion in a second. We're in item C1, 17C1.
18C.
I'm sorry?
18A1C1.
Oh, 18. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 2 is recommendation by project engineer Hackett Associates to award to the responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best bid while meeting all specifications and requirements, Noble Texas Builders, in the amount of $13,500 for the RFB as stated for the ADA bus shelter on North 12th Avenue and Stubbs Streets in Edinburgh.
For approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 When opposed, motion carries.
Item 3 is requesting approval of supplemental agreement 1 to work authorization 2 of current contract with LNG Consulting Engineers for professional services for construction of the Justice Center to amend Exhibit B and Exhibit D for the removal of the county services facility scope of services and decrease the amount by $6,697.36.
Move.
Move for approval.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item B1 for Precinct 1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
B, presentation of scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court. The firms graded and evaluated to the county's approved pool in connection with job-specific civil engineering services, which is a reconstruction of Hutto Road and 9 Mile project. The 3 firms were GDJ Engineering with a score of 292, R. Gutierrez Engineering with a score of 285, and Land Tech with a score of 280. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of those scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve that order of scoring. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
D is authority of the purchasing department to negotiate a professional engineering services agreement, which is specific to the project as stated on the agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item C1, Precinct 2, requesting approval of supplemental agreement 2 to contract numbers as stated on the agenda with B2Z Engineering, resulting in an extension of the contract termination date for the Precinct 2 Military Highway Extension.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
2A, requesting approval of work authorization 4 with an estimated cost of $115,788.28 as submitted by project engineer B2Z to provide right-of-way acquisition and appraisal services for Precincts 2 Military Highway Extension Project.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B is pursuant to contract with B2Z Engineering, a request for approval by engineer to permit the subcontracting of Brighton Group LLC and Appraisal House LLC to provide right-of-way acquisition and services and appraisal services for Military Highway Extension Road Project.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under D1 for Precinct 3, no action at this time. Item E for WIC, request for the Hidalgo County WIC program to consider and approve an addendum to the sole source exemption issued on March 17, 2015 to Mobile Lactation Consultant DBA Daily Enterprises to include a business associate addendum and to remain in effect as a sole source while access authorization is in place or until revoked by Commissioners Court.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item F1 for the office, acceptance and approval of invoices submitted by Hackett Associates for professional engineering services under work authorization 4, and this is for the bus barn project.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
F2A, acceptance and approval of work authorization 2 with an estimated cost as stated on the agenda, as submitted by B2Z to provide engineering services for Vicksburg facility renovation and addition located in Precinct 4 through the on-call contract.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 2B, pursuant to Article 14 of the Professional Services Agreement, requesting approval to engage the services of subcontractors Lenays Architects and Sentinel research and consulting for the Vicksburg facility renovation and addition.
For approval.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
D1 for facilities management on behalf of the county clerk. A, discussion, consideration, and action to approve a necessary CARES Act relief fund expenditure to cover costs not accounted for in the current budget and cannot be lawfully funded by line item, allotment, or allocation for the installation of a drive-through window at Vitals and Official Records building and order to assist with county actions to facilitate compliance with public health measures addressing the ongoing COVID-19 emergency. The court, having reviewed the agenda item briefing, herein finds that such expenditure is reasonable and necessary for the incurred for its intended use.
So move.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item B is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A1 and 2 as attached herein.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item C is a request by Dow County Clerk through Facilities Management to install a drive-through window at the Vitals and Official Records building located at 317 North Gloucester. An acceptance and approval of a proposal from job order contractor Centennial awarded job contract through our membership and participation with Byboard in the amount of $15,778.11, and it is subject to compliance with Form 1295.
Move for approval.
Move for approval.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item H1 under Executive Office, requesting authority to purchase equipment and enter into an annual service agreement with Swaggett Productions LLC, awarded vendor through the TIPS co-op contract as stated on the agenda in the amount of $165,233 for live streaming services at Commissioners Court, cameras, installation, warranty, and archiving, and all of Hidalgo County's bandwidth and storage needs for the term covering August 2020 through July 2021, subject to compliance with 1295, which I think has been met.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item I1 for Health and Human Services. I1A, discussion, consideration, and approval of CARES Act relief fund expenditure to cover costs not accounted for in the current budget and cannot be lawfully funded by line item, allotment, or allocation, or a lab service interlocal cooperation agreement in order to assist the county's medical and public health expenses addressing the ongoing COVID-19 public health emergency. The court, having reviewed the agenda item briefing, herein finds that such expenditure is reasonable as necessary for the intended use.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Yep. We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. This is really important. They came to our aid at the time we needed a lot of testing that we didn't have the capacity to do it. So they've been a great partner.
I agree, Judge. Item B is requesting approval of an interlocal agreement, cooperation agreement between Hidalgo County and the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley for laboratory services for coronavirus disease.
Move for approval.
Was this an executive session item? Josie? Or not?
This item is just strictly for testing, Commissioner. This is only for the testing that they're conducting on the county's behalf.
Do we have a number on that?
I think it's up to 10,000 of the PCR and up to 5,000 on the antibody.
Oh, I'm sorry, a dollar amount.
Oh, dollar amount? Sergio might have that.
There it is.
I can look it up on the agenda, Commissioner, but I don't have that off the top of my head.
We looked for it and we couldn't find it. So that's why we thought it was going to be talked about in executive session.
I believe the original figure was up to $5 million, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
the budgeted amount, correct?
But that was a budget amount for us overall or for the agreement?
Commissioner.
Overall.
Stop. Josie.
Mr. Olivares is on the line.
I think that Mr. Garza has some input on that, and I think that we need to listen to what Mr. Garza says.
Commissioner, this item is specifically regarding the testing. There has been some discussion in committee with regards to other potential expenditures as it relates to UTRGV. You can take action on this item, and then under the general COVID agenda, closed session agenda item, we can discuss the other matters.
No, Victor, but what I was trying to find out before the meeting was how much we were going to put in this interlocal agreement for testing. I understand what you're saying, but just for this specific item on testing, what is the amount? Somebody give me an amount.
I believe it's $5 million for the whole.
Commissioner, the amount for specifically for this interlocal agreement at the diagnostic testing at 10,000, up to 10,000 tests is $1 million. Up to 5,000 antibody tests, that's $325,000. So the total up to amount for this interlocal is $1,325,000.
Thank you.
There you go.
I'm good with that. Is there a motion already?
Yep.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
J1 under IT, requesting authority to purchase a request management software, including 80 licenses, support services, training, maintenance, and any present, future accessories to be used by all precincts and IT through our membership and participation with Omnia Partners. Contract is stated on the agenda. Awarded vendor SHI's authorized retailer Civic Plus in an amount not to exceed $25,309.40, subject to 1295 compliance.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
Judge, Commissioners, if I may, under item 19A, 19A1, there is no action to be taken today. 19A2, no action to be taken. Item 19B, there is no action to be taken today. 19C is discussion and possible action regarding resolution and support for the nomination of individuals to the Texas Water Development Board's Region 15 Flood Planning Group members and nomination of supporting political subdivision. Commissioner Fuentes.
Oh, Precinct 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I missed that. So this is the same agenda item we're talking about on the regional flood planning. Similar to what we did at the drainage district, just since we are a separate entity, just asking for the same consideration for the nomination of the people that we've been working with on the regional flood planning. A good regional group of commissioners and irrigation districts, engineers, UTRGV folks. So we're asking for approval of to submit the resolution in support of the nominations for the people listed.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item D, Judge Commissioners, is approval to accept the settlement money grant from Jaime N. Ramon in the amount of $446.10, and this will settle an auto accident claim with one of our county vehicles.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, item 20, I will defer after closed session.
Okay. We're going into closed session. So pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.087. We'll be retiring to closed session to discuss those items. Any action items to be taken will be taken in open session when we return. I have a motion to retire to closed session.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to retire to closed session. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. We'll go into closed session. We're back from a closed session. We do have some action items to be taken.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge Commissioners. Under open session 23A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same, there is no action to be taken today. 23B, pending and or potential litigation, there is no action to be taken. 23C, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding response to public health emergency. There is an agenda item that I will address under item 20. If I may go on to item 23E, C4230-16-G, Blanca Quintanilla and Glendy Hernandez versus Hidalgo County and Constable Precinct 3. Judge Commissioners, I'd like for the court to entertain a motion in settlement of Blanca Quintanilla and Glendy Hernandez versus the County of Hidalgo Constable Precinct 3 to accept settlement and all settlement documents related to this in the amount of $95,000.
Move for approval.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 23F, claim of Adrian Pena Jr., Judge Commissioners. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $802.62.
For approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 23G, claim of David Gonzalez, Judge Commissioners. I would like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $1,250.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries.
So I'm going to ask the court to go back to item 22A and 22B. For the record, there is no action under item 22A and 22B this week. If I may go back to item 20, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a county response to disaster health emergency, one CARES Act funds. Judge Commissioners, there's no action to be taken today. And item B and C are related in what I'm about to report. Item 20B, measures necessary to preserve public health and safety. And moving on to C, direction regarding county government operations, including but not limited to essential functions. Judge Commissioners, we continue to practice the social distancing and continued wearing of facial coverings with all of our employees, and also asking all of our constituents doing business in all our county buildings to adhere to the same. Our county operations are operational. They are open. So again, that is my report this week. So there is no action to be taken necessarily on item 20A1, 20B, and 20C other than just the report and update that I gave.
Okay. Believe that takes care of all of our agenda items. I have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.